we go. Now we're started.
All righty. Hi, Stanley, if you're there. Are you ready, Logan?
Yeah.
All right. So last time we saw the basic algorithm to triangulate a monotone polygon. And in fact, there's a simpler version of it. I started to get that up as an exercise, and then I got pulled away, and I didn't get the exercise posted, but I'll hopefully get that up today. The thing is, that algorithm is for monotone polygons. So if you're not monotone, something can go haywire with it. And let's just look at a situation where that happens. So I've got this non-monotone polygon. I better be careful how I draw it here. So it looks like this. And so in terms of the order that, and then dot. But in terms of the order for the vertices, this will be the first one. This will be the second. This should be the third and the fourth in x coordinate order. So running the algorithm on this, we start out initially our list of our work set has 1 and 2 in it, because they're the first two, because that's the way that the kickoff started. And so the next thing we do is we process 3. So we encounter 3. And 3 is technically opposite 1 and 2, right? It's in the opposite monotone chain. And so so the way that the algorithm works is we use 3 and the last one on this structure and the one before that on this structure to make a triangle. So we get this little triangle made. And when we do that, we remove who's it that gets removed?
1,
2, 3, opposite dot. Case 1, make a triangle. It's actually 2 that comes out, because we're building counterclockwise, and it's always the middle one that comes out. It's always the first one that you took that goes away. So we triangulate 3, 2, 1, and then we remove and update, so L becomes 1 and 3. Fine. Then we go on and we encounter 4. So and 4 is technically opposite 1 and 3, right? I mean, 1 and 3 are in this lower chain, and 4 is in the upper chain. And so it's that same case that applies. We try to make the triangle. It would be, in this case now, it would be 4, 3, 1. But of course we can't, because the 4, 3 is not a diagonal. So the segment 4, 3 is not a diagonal. And so the algorithm's basically not able to handle something like this, where we have effectively an incursion into one of the triangles. And that results from simply not being monotone. Our monotone chains, our 2 chains are not monotone chains. In fact, the x coordinates don't increase as I go across the top of this. So what do you do with things like this? And the answer is, well, you find some other way to deal with it. And usually what one does in computational geometry, when you've got some kind of entity that that has some kind of characteristic like this, that makes an algorithm that works for other things not work, you try to decompose it into pieces that will work. So the thought is decompose polygon into a less complex polygon. So in particular, what one might do is try to decompose whatever our bad polygon is into a collection of monotone polygons, and then triangulate them, and then do something to glue the triangulation of the pieces back together to make an overall triangulation. What we're going to look at today is it winds up being a decomposition, and what's cool about it is you can do the triangulation as you find the decomposition. So it's called a trapezoidal decomposition. So the first thing we have to do is, what's a trapezoid? And you probably remember that. The deal with the trapezoid is it's a fourgon. That is, it has four vertices with two parallel edges. So, typically something that looks like, this is the usual picture that people give. But really anything that's got two parallel, or two edges are parallel, no matter how poor a drawer you are, is a trapezoid. Trapezoids, so just if we just simply think about this guy in particular, I can make the top real little. In fact, I could keep on going with that, right, and make it just tiny, and still have a trapezoid. And you can definitely see where this is heading, right? As I shrink that top down, I'm heading more and more triangular. So in fact, a triangle is a degenerate trapezoid. I'm not spelling it right. So normal trapezoids and degenerate trapezoids are still trapezoids. So what we're going to do is called a horizontal trapezoidalization. And if you type this word into anything, it'll get flagged as a bogus word. I won't go any further to the right here. Horizontal. Oh, God. Trapezoidalization. Trapezoidalization will get flagged as a bogus word, but in fact it's not. It's everywhere in the literature, and spelled more or less like that. When we do a horizontal trapezoidalization of a polygon, we run a horizontal line through each vertex of the polygon. And then we, as trapezoids, we hang on to just the part that actually intersects in the polygon itself. So we get segments that contain usually at least one vertex of the polygon. And other points of the polygon. So I'm gonna do one here. What we'll do is we'll assume that we don't have any vertices in the polygon that have the same y coordinates, so that in fact we get a single vertex of the polygon as well as some other junk. And I have this, I don't think well, maybe I can draw this whole thing. It's rather large and probably don't need all of it, but I want parts of it. So this comes down, does this. So, you know, it's got some of the ugliness that makes the other algorithm kind of fail. That should be good. That's ugly. You know, if I don't know if it'll make any difference, but maybe if I shift to blue and just run horizontal line segments here. So here's one, starts at a vertex and extends until it hits the other side of the polygon. Same with this. There's another one. I'm going to do several of these. This one is kind of different, right? Because it extends from the vertex till it encounters the edges of the polygon. So in fact, it goes both ways out of this. This one just comes out of this vertex. This one here does another one of those things where it lies in the midst of the line. Let's see. I don't know how much more of this I actually care about, but I want to get enough that we can do the stuff that we need to do here. So here's one. Here's another one of those kind of funky ones. Another one of those kind of funky ones. That should be enough to. Do I need any more? That's pretty close to enough to get us into the part setting. So et cetera down through the rest of this. One thing that you notice when I do this, not surprisingly, given the way that we started the discussion, we break the polygon into trapezoids. So this, let me just say et cetera here. And the big observation is this breaks the polygon into trapezoids. And I don't know, convince yourself that a trapezoid is a monotone polygon. No matter what you do to it, it's clean in that respect. So let's see. We have a horizontal line through each vertex. Well, at least in the part that I did, I left out the horizontal lines that encounter a single vertex that would be tangent to this thing, because they're not interesting. It's just really the interior part that we actually care about. I'm assuming that we have unique y coordinates so that I don't encounter more than one vertex so that I don't have a situation like this where my horizontal line would encounter these two guys. So I just nix that by assuming that we have unique y coordinates. You can bring that back in if you want to junk it up. And the third observation is what I kind of pointed out as I was doing this. We got some of the horizontal segments have a single. Well, they all have a single vertex in them, but in some of them, that single vertex is on the end of the segment. and on others, like this one, and down here, and over here, that vertex lies interior to the line. We need some terminology here. The polygon vertex on the horizontal line is called supporting vertex for the trapezoid. All right, just call it supporting vertex. So that's the term, supporting vertex. And if I look at the trapezoids in this thing, each one has, each one is defined by two horizontal lines, except for the trivial ones that are already triangles. But they're defined by two horizontal lines, and each of those horizontal lines has a supporting. So in fact, the trapezoids that come out of this horizontal trapezoidalization each have two supporting vertices in it. Each trapezoid in the horizontal trapezoidalization has two supporting vertices. Picking, they're all there. So if we pick the the ones that aren't the result of the pathological parts of these things, they sort of look like that. And what's really cool is if I just take and connect those supporting vertices with a line, I get a diagonal. Better yet, that diagonal has, better yet, that diagonal, it's a diagonal here. So in fact, I get a triangle. I've triangulated that chunk. If I do that again, this is one of those non-normal points, non-normal vertices. But if I do that again, I get, where am I here? If I do that again, I've triangulated that part. So there's a connection between getting these trapezoids and getting triangulation out of the deal. There are other things that happen as well. For one thing, when I've done this, I've now split into, I've got a triangle, and now I've got it's a little less ugly situation here. In fact, if I connect these two, the part that's left, I don't get I certainly get a triangle out of this part, but the part that's left over, let me do that. There's another triangle, but the part that remains is a little less non-monotone. Right, we've lost. We're eliminating some of that hookiness. That it's called cusps. It's called bad points. All right, so we've got the supporting vertex. I guess I've made that observation before. The supporting vertices that are interior to a line segment are the results of these cusp-shaped areas. So sometimes, if you think about, we're going to be moving a a sweep line through this process. And if you sort of think about what happens as that sweep line comes down, you know, I have two lines that come together at this, whereas over here, when I bring a sweep line down, at this point, I've got two lines that separate out. So sometimes this is called a merge, and this is called a split. Just because that's what happens as the sweep line moves through them. But the deal is a merge and a split. What are the other terms? An interior cusp, or in Dean terminology, a bad part, is when you've got the vertex that gives a horizontal line in the horizontal trapezoidalization. When you do that, that supporting vertex is interior to the line rather than on one end or the other of the line segment. So those guys are special, and we'll do special things with them. So the fact is, you connect supporting vertex in a cusp. Okay. All right. I better follow my notes here. So I did that up there. So if the generic term for these things is cusp or interior cusp, because that's where that supporting vertex lands. Let me do the fact that drives everything here, because it's got a term that we have to do down. The fact is, if you connect a supporting vertex, which is a cusp, to the opposite. Here comes the cusp. To the opposite supporting vertex. We break the polygon into Y monotone chunks. I guess maybe I should say connect supporting vertices, which are a cusp to the opposite supporting vertices. We break the polygon into Y monotone chunks. By Y monotone, I'm doing this. You know, yesterday I did X monotone. Here I'm doing Y monotone. So let me take out the stuff that I've drawn in here just for the moment. I made some triangles out of this. Put my lines back in. And just so what? So here's, so I think this is going to be like that, and this guy is going to be one of those. It's interior. Just continue my business here. This is going to be one of those that's interior. This one, I guess, is already drawn. But it winds up being interior. And then I don't really have anything else going on here. So if I do what the fact says, I connect supporting vertices. If I look at the cusp and connect their supporting vertex to the vertex which is opposite, I break the polygon into pieces. Well, let's see if that works. So here's a cusp connected to the vertex that's opposite. And opposite in this case is going to be here. Opposite in this case is going to be, this was a split. And so opposite is going to be, yeah, up there. This is a merge, and so opposite should be down, and I guess that takes me to here. This is a split, so opposite takes me to, I guess, to here also. This is a merge, so opposite takes me to should take me to here. Am I right on that?
What's meant by opposite exactly?
Well, that's opposite. So if it's like this, I go up. So opposite is up. And if it's like this, opposite is down.
Okay.
And so I was trying to be consistent with that and deal with my buzz and look at this incredibly messy thing. So this one should go up. This one should go down, right? This one should go up, and the vertex that we always connect to is the other guy in the line immediately above or the line immediately below. So here it would have to go up to here. This one should go down, and so I guess the down out of this would come down here, wouldn't it?
Okay.
And here's a split, so I want to go up, and I guess the up would take me to here. And this would go up. Where would up go? I guess up is going to have to go here, isn't it? And then this wants to go. This wants to go down. Where does it go down to? I don't know where it goes down to. Do I show that in my guide? Yeah, okay. So I don't match anything that I've got here. The down out of this one. I'm not sure where that one goes. I guess that's exercise. What do we do with that?
What about? Wow, no, those aren't the same line, are they? In the left sort of wing over there.
Yeah.
Like, is that down one more line?
Down here?
Yeah. Are those the same line?
Actually, this isn't a vertex, is it? This is just what's that again?
Like, just the next line down, right? Like, is that the same line as the one on the right?
No.
There? Okay. Yeah,
No.
I didn't think so.
This is just this is a vertex of polygon,
Gotcha. Yeah.
and it just hits it over here. So, but I'm thinking this one should go down, but there's nobody to go down to, unless I've drawn I may have drawn an impossible polygon here. It doesn't look like it though. I'm trying to be Y monotone.
I mean,
So
could you just go up? Like, that's the only way you can go, isn't it?
That looks to me like the only way we can go. that goes up and then went up. This one is technically a down. And so it looks to me like the destination for that would have to be here. Right? I mean, this is technically a trapezoid. So this would be a supporting vertex on it.
Right, but then you still have that little region in the middle there. That's still not a triangle.
Right. Yeah, yeah, because this is shaped like this, and it's got the. Oh wait, but we are Y monotone.
We are.
Yeah, we're thinking. We're working off of. I'm working off of yesterday's visualization. We are Y monotone. Here's one monotone chain that makes this side, and here's another monotone chain that makes this side.
Okay.
So yeah, we're good, even though if you tilt it sideways, if you flip it 90 degrees and think of X monotone
Right.
instead, we're good on that. We're just not convex at that point.
Right.
So, all right, so I don't know if that was muddled enough that maybe.
That makes sense to me, I think.
Well, that's what's supposed to happen, and so it eventually did happen, I guess. So the end result of this, how can I do this in a manner that's not just god awful ugly? The end result of this should be some chunks. Let me just take everything out that's not part of the deal here.
Okay, I see it now, I think.
The pieces that we should wind up with should be Y monotone. It should be monotone polygons, monotone with respect to the Y coordinates. Did I want to leave that in?
I think you probably wanted to leave in the.
This is.
Shouldn't that one have gone? Oh no.
No, that one went down to this one.
Wait, did it? No. It went. What do you call it? It went to the left. Just kitty corner, like, nope.
Where are we?
So we had these two lines, and this one went up to this one, the opposite one, right? Because this isn't Y monotone.
Well, but this, okay, yeah, you're right. So this has to go up, yeah. And then this is nothing. And then this one has to go up. Right, and that was the point that we then went up, okay. So this line comes about from this one.
Yeah.
This line came about from this one. Yeah. So we should wind up with polygons that are made up of two chains that increase or decrease in the y direction. I believe we're good there. Because here's a triangle, here's one that we analyzed as two chains. This one is certainly two relatively simple chains. Triangle. This guy's vertices. So triangle, and then this guy's vertices increase or decrease as we go down. So he's actually the big one out of the deal. And we're and then we could, then if we wanted to, we could apply the algorithm from yesterday to each of these chunks and get a triangulation. But in fact, we don't have to do that. We can. So what we did was we looked at the whole polygon, found all of these horizontal lines, and then connected appropriate pieces out of the resulting trapezoids, and then erased everything, and we've got a monotone decomposition of this. But in fact, you can accomplish that and the triangulation at the same time as you sweep a line down through this. And so the doing it part of this, how do you do that? Well, how do you do that algorithmically rather than visually? Turns out to yield something that lets you do the second step, the triangulation, in addition to doing that. And it's a plane sweep algorithm. We'll sweep a horizontal line downward. So doing it, plane sweep. And sweep a line, sweep a horizontal line. L downward. So the events are going to be events of polygons vertices in y-coordinate order. So we have to sort up in order to accomplish that. At each vertex, well, we're maintaining a status for the line. So the status for the line is the polygon edges with the line that L intersects. And that's it. So the process of this sweep is at each vertex V. We find the poly edges left and right of V, as if we were drawing the horizontal, doing the horizontal trapezoidalization. We update L status. The status is the polygon edges that L intersects. So basically at this point, we stop, we find those edges that are left and right of V, we update the L status, and then continue. So continue. This is the loopy part of this. This business of updating L status is where we make some decisions, and I'm gonna nuke this because I don't think we need it anymore. And this is good on the video, I hope. At least nobody's complained yet. So Stanley, if this part of the board isn't
That's
visible,
what I'm afraid is when I was like, it's working, right? Because he hasn't really like told, like he hasn't complained afterwards.
so Stanley, we're assuming it's working. So
I sent him an email. I was
I'm
like,
assuming
let
this-
me know if it's not. But I'm gonna go back and check my spam and make sure that I'm not like filtering it or something. He has been screaming at me the whole time.
Yeah, actually, I haven't checked spam either. So I'm assuming that this part of the board is good, basically down to where I sort of stopped. So there are different things that happen at those events. I mean, there are different ways that the update takes place at each of those events. And so here's that eraser. Let A and B be poly edges that are left and right of V, of the vertex that we're doing the event at. V is a vertex, so it's actually, it's got segments that are incident to it. So let C and D be the poly edges that V is on. Then we've got, there's three possible pictures. So here's A and B. One possible picture is, well, and here's V. So our sweep line is, so here's L going through V, and C and D. So one possibility is, this is C and D. Relabel them if they're upside down. But one possibility is this is just a normal like polygon edge. In which case the update, so case one, so you update L's status to indicate basically that we've got A followed by C followed by D followed by B. So it sort of goes from A, B to indicating that C and D are in between. I'm sorry, I said that exactly backwards. Actually, let's instead of me saying anything about what we're doing, here's one picture. Here's the picture for the first case. The picture for the second and third cases look like when we don't have a normal vertex at V. So case two, who is my case two? That one. So there's A, there's B, and case two is, here's V. So C and D are on the left and right, and case three is, so this would be a merge, case three is a split. So C and D, so again, here's L that goes through, here's L that goes through, this is a merge. This is a split, and this is just a transition from one edge to another. So again, L is moving downward. And an event has occurred. We made it to V. So over here, hitting V, the event that happens is kind of what I tried to indicate, but I screwed it up. The event is we change sort of from C to D. So we had been, L had been intersecting C as we were sweeping down. C is no longer there, but D replaces it. So we go from A, C, B to to ADB, right? C went out of context and D came into context is effectively what that's saying. Thinking about, all right, so that's how our status is reflecting things. So now thinking about these other two, this is a situation where we had A, C, D, E, and now we got the V. Both C and D go out of context, so both of them are lost. So this just goes to A, B. And similarly, in this case, I was just A, B, and now C and D both come into context. So it becomes A, C, D, B. Yeah. So that's what the what the sweep line status carries with it. So here we would remove C and add D, and we're adding it. You know, the status is reflecting the edges of the polygon that L intersects. So you think of it as a list of them, but in fact, I need to take out the C and add the D in, and it's between A and B that happens, and so we sort of need it in sorted order, or we need it in an order where there's a way of getting the predecessor and successor, and the same sort of business happens over there. So that, you know, that kind of drives how we're going to maintain that line status. So that's how the process goes, how we sweep the line. We're supposed to be accomplishing something as we do this, though, and this is uninteresting. There isn't much that happens here. It's those two where things change, and in both of those. So in this case, V is, I think back to that trapezoidalization, that trapezoidal decomposition that we did. In case 2, V is a sort of lower support for a trapezoid. Let me just draw a trapezoid. So that means that somebody up above, actually two somebodies up above, are going to be the other parts of those trapezoids. Let me just bring that in. So there's a trapezoid from A, and another one from B. And in fact, at this point, when I hit V, if I know where so B doesn't necessarily continue on through it, nor does A necessarily continue on through. A and B, I'm sorry, these two support vertices are vertices of the polygon. So, you know, there's something that goes on at them. But the idea here is that I've got now an opportunity to do a triangulation. So I'll connect V to the appropriate upper supports that are on the lines A and B. And there are my there are my there's the decomposition part that takes place. The same sort of thing for 3. In this case, V is an upper support for trapezoids. And well, there actually isn't, this was a merge where things come together. But this is a split where things are going to separate out. So in fact, what we have after this is an upper support on C. And now I continue to sweep the line. So I continue to sweep the line. And of course, at some point, as the line continues to sweep down, it's going to encounter, there will be a vertex for the other end of C. And, when the line gets down here, presumably this will change one direction or the other. But whatever happens at this point, this guy is going to go in place of C in that sweep line, and will continue until eventually, at some point, there's a merge that takes place. It may not merge, probably won't merge over here, or we would have a hole in our trapezoid, or in our polygon. But it will merge into somebody else, and there will be another opportunity to connect to the upper support. So there's an algorithm, a good algorithm. In order to make this happen, we have to keep the L status. So we need the ability to find so how do I want to say this? Find the upper support on A and B for case 2, and lower support on A and B for case 3. So that means that, at the event B, I need to first of all look up A and B, and secondly look up for case 2. So this would be case 2. Look up the endpoints of A and B. So I have to look up A and B. This is in L support, L status rather. And then I have to look up information about those lines once I find them in the status. So thinking about this as an algorithm, I'm catching a quick breath here. Thinking about the cost of this as an algorithm, we have, first of all, I have to sort the points, sort polygons, vertices on the y-coordinate. It's just a sort, and then we start our sweep, and then we sweep the line. So if we sorted them in ascending, we would start at the end of the array. We could sort of descending, whatever. But we then can start sweeping the line. during the sweep, we process each vertex. And we're doing it in Y-coordinate order. And processing each vertex means we're going to insert and remove in L's status. So that means I have to find A and B. That's based on V. The information we have is V, and A and B are the line to the left and the right of V. We have to, so when we insert or update, and update the triangulation. So insert line and update the triangulation, or remove a line and update. So that means that so I'm processing each vertex, so we're certainly talking about n steps here. Each one of these steps, I need to find stuff. I need to insert in a manner that I can find again. So we're looking at, if we use some kind of a log n structure that supports this idea of predecessor and successor, that supports the ability to locate something and then locate before and after, then I'm looking at n times log n. Typically, this is a balanced binary search tree. AVL, red, black, AA, something like that. But my total cost then for the sweep is n log n. My cost for the sort is n log n. And so my total cost is n log n. So in fact, we can do it faster than that n squared algorithm that we have. That's what I got for today. I'll have to say the buzz isn't quite as bad as it was yesterday. It's still running. So, Stanley, any questions? See you tomorrow.